So listen, man, we got this comment, and this is going to be a deep one today, my boy. This is going to be a deep one. Buckle in. He says, hey, Dumper, you got any economy videos? Like, hey, bro, I'm really trying to not get effed over by the system. I'm 20. With the rise of AI stuff, going to be different by 30, 35. And we will get back to that time frame later. So I'm going to get some technology and programming skills so I can transition for when AI takes the majority of people's jobs. I see a great shift and divide coming amongst the rich and the poor. There won't be a middle or upper middle class. You said we can give you some video ideas. Let me know your thoughts. So let's start off with this. Let's start off with I'm not an expert. Now, what I've come to realize is it doesn't matter in reality, that I give these disclaimers because there are going to be people who are going to listen and think I'm an expert, even if I say I'm not an expert. But I'm still going to say it. I'm not an expert. I don't got $80 million in the bank. I am not a financial guru or nothing like that. So what you are going to get in this video is pure perspective from me. And if you value that, that's what it is. So I got two videos relevant to the topic lined up. We're going to discuss those, and I'm going to discuss some things after that. So let's get into it.
How can we afford an $80,000 house? Very simple. Over 30 years, just a trifle down payment, and a pittance of a mortgage, and two living parents with a pen. Who can sign?
So that clip was from Boy Meets World, and that episode aired in 1999, and I couldn't help myself, so I had to run the numbers. The show took place in Philly, and I saw that the median house price was around $80,000 in 1999. Now, Corey and Topanga were high school students without a job, so they couldn't qualify, but what about the median household income back then? It's $40,000, which is about $3,300 a month, and a 3% down payment on the median house was only $2,400. So somebody in Philly in 1999 didn't even have to save 1 month's income to put a down payment on this house, and the interest rates were around 7%, just like they are today. So with principal, interest, property taxes, insurance, and private mortgage insurance, the total payment was $750 a month to get the median house in Philly, and you're making $3,300. So that's about what, 25%? So a family making 40 grand could take care of their entire mortgage in just 1 week. And then I wanted to see, well, let's just see what happened to the prices in Philadelphia, because we know the averages around the country, but let's look at Philly. $80,000 was the median price in 1999. It's now $250,000, so below the average for the nation, but the income was $40,000 for the median household. Now it's $60,000. So the housing price, even in Philly, went up over 200% in the last 25 years, but the income only went up 53%. So even in smaller cities, metro cities, no matter where we look, I don't think I have found a city in America where the housing and income was even close to keeping up.
So I have a similar video that goes over some of the same numbers in more detail on my page. But listen, if you just look at that, we are getting fucked. It's just that simple. It's not complicated math. I don't have to smooth it over. We are getting fucked when it comes to wages. The economy is fucked. And even then, if you just look around at what's going on, it's going to be worse. I don't see it getting better. I know they're going to tell you, oh yeah, inflation is at its lowest. There are things going on right now that are going to affect us in years. But right now, if you were average, you could probably find a way to get by, because a lot of people are getting by. But as far as not struggling, boy, like, what are we talking? Like, most people are struggling right now, and more people are going to struggle in the future. Now, remember, he said, it's going to be different by 20, 30, 35. It's definitely going to be different. And everybody is worried about AI taking their jobs and things like that. We're going to discuss that a little later, but this is the thing. The time is now. Shit is different now. We won't even get into all the tech layoffs that have happened and stuff like that, because I can't tell you exactly what that is. But when it comes to AI, people are worried about AI taking the jobs. AI is stopping people from getting the jobs. Now, we about to watch this video real quick.
another young person doesn't get the job. Now, if you follow me, you know from time to time I run deep background checks for Fortune 500 companies, some Fortune 100, some other larger companies. I ran another one today, and I mean, the very first video I ever posted, it got almost 2 million views, 1.7 million views, I don't know how many it was, where a woman didn't get a job because of a video that she had posted online years earlier. Now the new thing is young people aren't getting their jobs because of videos that are coming up that are pretty recent. And I just wanted to come on here and just elaborate on the fact that everything you do online lasts forever. Every time you're in public, chances are there's a video camera facing toward you somewhere at some time. So this woman, another woman, interesting that most of the time it's a young woman, it was up for a job at a really large company. And they asked me to do the final deep background check on her, which is a facial recognition, the voice recognition, all the crazy stuff that I do, all the crazy AI and technology stuff that I do. But this video came back, and in this video, she's protesting, free Palestine. And she's saying some pretty crazy stuff about Jewish people. And some Jewish people are there counter-protesting, and she's saying some pretty bad stuff to them. And this was an upper management position. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you how old she is, but she's not a kid. She's in her late 20s, and this was going to be cool. This was probably $150,000, $160,000 all in with benefits, everything. I looked her up. I saw that she was posting about it. She actually posted about this job and about how excited she was about to get this job and how she was in the final running. And she kind of took her social media people through this. But I turned that video in today, and she's not going to get that job. And as someone who grew up with social media and grew up with the internet and grew up with these video phones, these video cameras, how could she do this to herself? If she wants something from someone who the owners of the company happen to be Jewish, by the way, which I can't even make that shit up if I tried, but you're always being recorded, especially if you're in a crowd of people or protesting and you're screaming and yelling or any of that. You're always being recorded, and I can find you. It doesn't matter if the video is erased. It doesn't matter if somebody else posts the video. It doesn't matter if somebody in Timbuktu posts the video. I will find it. Facial recognition, 146 different places on your face. It is 99.999% accurate. It counts the hairs in your eyebrows. It counts the hairs in a square centimeter on your head. It counts the distance between your eyes, the distance here between your eyes, your ears, how your ears line up with one another. It is scary stuff, and we will find you. You can even cover your face. It's voice recognition also. And then you put that together with different elements like me in this room, in my office. You could put this together and you could figure out where I am. You could figure out who I am with this facial recognition, voice recognition and everything. It's crazy. You guys have got to stop doing this. You're destroying your careers. You may be destroying your lives because, again, men are running deep background checks on women before they ask them to marry them because they've become so much cheaper than they used to be. They used to cost $2,500. Now they cost $1,000 or less. It depends on what level you want to go to. So all I'm saying to you, and this is all I'm going to say, is if you want something from someone else, if there's ever going to be a moment in your life where you're going to want something from someone else, stop posting shit on the internet. Stop getting involved in this shit that's going to make you less desirable as an employee or less desirable as a spouse. So there you have it. This is a 5-minute rant, public service announcement, whatever you want to call it. Sometime you're going to want something and you're not going to get it because of the way you acted. And when I was a kid, it wouldn't matter because nobody had it on video. Everyone has you on video. Everyone has everything you do on video. Everything you say, you have to assume you're being recorded. Just don't do it. If you want something, don't do it. You want to be successful? Don't do it. You want to be an influencer and work for yourself? Fine, do whatever you want to do. But don't post any rants. Don't say bad things about people. Don't say bad things about your country. And certainly don't do anything sexual. Don't do anything that you wouldn't do in front of your parents. So, that's it.
Bruh, this technology is out right now, not 2035. Like, we're cooked. We're cooked. We're cooked. So you already can't afford. And when you look at the tech industry, who do you think is going to be using this technology the most? The tech industry. Of course. So it's like, I could sit here and say, man, oh man, you got to clean up your digital footprint and all of that stuff. I could sit here and say that, but listen, you got on one hand, it is just hard to even live, bro. They are rigging it for everybody, no matter what color you are, bro. The majority, they are rigging it for the majority to struggle, to not be able to live, to have to DoorDash right after they get off of work. They making it so that you got to get 2 or 3 hustles outside of your job and stuff like that. That's what's happening. Now, the issue when it comes to AI, as far as taking jobs, you got 2 things. You got, robotics as far as automation mixed with AI. So they getting them these they got drones and stuff like that. They got different like humanoid stuff that's being made. Tesla, they doing their stuff. Everybody is working on like these robots and stuff, like really some real robot stuff, really. And the AI is just becoming really intelligent to where if you have white collar jobs where you sit at a computer, most of them are going to be capable, especially by the time frame he mentioned 2030, 2035, to, do these jobs without you. When it comes to coders, one of the things that they say, which I'm not an expert, so I'm not about to sit here and like tell you that everything is going to be all right to code with you and stuff. But what the experts say, what the people who are the influencers that got the jobs, they like, listen, this stuff, the AI can code, it can write whole code, but it can't code very good. So we got some time. That's what they basically saying. Like right now, you don't got nothing to worry about. And even in the future, you're just going to have to figure out different ways different prompts to put into the AI to get what you actually want. And then you still going to have to tweak the code and stuff like that. So that's what a lot of them say. But if you got a job like an accountant or you do taxes or something like it's getting close to where you're going to be cooked. So you got AI coming for jobs like that. You got AI, and who knows? It may open up new lanes for new jobs to where people got to man the AI. Who knows? But when you get past that, this background check stuff that we just looked at, the people that he's talking about, these companies are running stuff is Fortune 500 companies. So that's number one. And number two, they're probably only running them for high positions. They're not running them for people who are entry level or somebody who's about to become a supervisor. If they're about to give you, that mid 6 figures or whatever it is, that's when they're using it. Well, this is what's going to happen over time. You got to think about this. AI just hit the market like in 2023. It just came out to where it's public and we all can use it, right? It's 2025. It was free. Everybody we didn't have to pay no money to use it. You still don't have to pay no money to use it. Man, by 2035, do you know how accessible that information is? Bruh, he talked in the video about regular people using it. Regular people using it just to get background checks on a chick that they're about to marry. So when we get past that type of service, as far as background checks through AI, it's going to be more affordable by 2035. It's going to be something to where anybody could use it. It's going to be on an app on your phone. It's going to be something to where you could put something in somebody's face, or you could look at them with your meta glasses and boom, everybody knows everything about everybody now. And just think, one of the things that he mentioned is it doesn't matter if you took the video down. I've heard people say stuff like that, but I'm very computer savvy. So like 7, 8 years ago, I'm like, man, whatever, man. You know, people who get caught up on social media is because their social media is public, XYZ, da 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 da, blah, blah, blah. It sounds like, especially when you get to talking about, think about this. He mentioned that, you know, you're always under surveillance when you're out in public and da 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 da. So on one hand, it sounds like they have the ability or a database of deleted posts, and they have access to find stuff that was once on the internet that has been erased and might be on a private account. It sounds like they have that deep of access. Who knows? Who knows if it actually works like that or not? But the other thing that's crazy is like, you go to Rolling Loud, you go to a concert, and you do that, you 20, right? Like you go to a concert when you're 22 or something like that, and they got the cameras and the surveillance out, you jumping around, and they get that footage somehow. And it's like, bro, like, oh, well, he's a Playboy Cardi fan, we don't want to hire him, or whatever the case is. Like, and I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it super real. And I don't care how nobody feel about it. It's definitely harder as black people to get in certain positions corporately. Now we got this shit working against. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, bro, like what? Come on, man. So a nigga really gotta get his Carlton on. A nigga really gotta get his Ivy League sweater on. Like, this shit is crazy. So let me give my take on a few things as far as what the poster asks. You know, the first thing, I'll just get this out the way and we won't elaborate on it or dwell on it too long. We can't really fathom what 2035 is going to be like. You know, I remember being in like second grade, and this is in the 90s. And I remember doing like a little pamphlet, and it said, oh yeah, by like 2010, we was going to have like floating cars and da 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 da. And it was like this whole future exhibit that was somewhere in America. And like I was reading about it in a magazine and stuff like that. We made it to 2010. We were still in Hyundais and Audis. So we could sit here and speculate about what the future is going to be, but this is the difference between me in the 90s making it to 2010 and, okay, what's the biggest advancement? The biggest advancement is smartphones are actually, like, we got Blackberries. In 2010, we had Blackberry. It wasn't even like, we had Windows phones, Blackberries. The Android and iPhone stuff wasn't going until like, you know, 2012-ish and like, you know, around that time frame, like 2011, 2012, like it wasn't going that crazy. It wasn't going that crazy until like 2011. But when we look at, you know, 2010 to 2020, the smartphone technology is just something so complete, like just certain technology, even in the cars being self-driving, the technological jump that we made from 2010 to 2020, you got to be honest, it's ridiculous. If you really look at what it is, it's ridiculous. Like you have FaceTime back in the 2000s, like, and even in the early 2010s. If you wanted to do webcam chatting, you would get on something like Teeny Chat or Omegle, and you had to have a computer, you had to have a webcam. That was it. That was it. You had to have those. Now, and even then, your shit be running slow and stuff like that. Now, you could FaceTime people anywhere on the planet through your phone. You know, you can record yourself. You can record whole music videos with your phone if you wanted to. Like, it's that crazy where we have, and even then, that shit I'm talking about right now is light. That shit is light. We literally have self-driving cars. So, like, the technological jump is ridiculous. So when we look at 15 years, 15 years from like 10, 15, can't even fathom it. Can't even fathom it, man. Can't even fathom what's going to be going on. But let's talk about AI and jobs. Like I mentioned earlier, for the most part, I could see AI taking a lot of white collar jobs. They also have even some like, blue collar jobs that are not really like, trades or anything, but like entry level, like low tier stuff, like being department store workers. I don't know if it's Amazon. I forget who made the store. It might be Amazon. It might be somebody else, but they made a store with like virtually no employees, and they got McDonald's locations like this to where everything is automated. Everything is automated. So no need for a person. You come, you put in your order, it recognizes da 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 da. And when it comes to the Amazon stuff, because I'm pretty sure it's an Amazon store, you walk in, you pick up whatever you want, you do self checkout, or you don't even self checkout. Like it scans everything, before you leave the store, and boom, and it's all under surveillance. So, and they also got the facial recognition stuff. So if you steal something, even if you're masked up, they're gonna get you. They're gonna get you, Luigi. But yeah, so automation and things like that, they're definitely going to come for those jobs. And like the landscape is going to change drastically. When it comes to tech is good now, get in where you can fit in. But I see that being something to where, the amount of employees and stuff like that, it gets oversaturated, and some stuff is going to be like, it's going to be really hard for people to get a job at a certain point, because a lot of people are going into the tech field. And I could be wrong, because, if you're not trying to work for the FANG, which is like Facebook, Amazon, I don't even remember what the N is. Maybe, I don't think it's Netflix. Google, is the G for sure. If you're not trying to work for those companies or nothing like that, then yeah, you probably got a good chance, working at a startup or working at a lower tier company or something like that. I was gonna recommend to watch the channel Tech Lead, but the thing that happened with Tech Lead, he is just so papered up. He quit all of his jobs and he took down all of his tech videos because he's just really done with the tech industry. He's like in the meme coins and things of that nature. So I'm not recommending to follow him, but find you some tech influencers to follow that really like talk about this stuff all the time. There are a lot of different people who talk about like, jobs that they just got and stuff like that in tech. So run some searches, get some people on your list, because those are going to be the experts that let you know what's going on in that field, what to expect, et cetera, et cetera. Now, even though I showed you that video about the background checks, I don't think it's that bad, because there is somebody who I did watch who I'm not going to put on the screen or nothing like that. It's a black dude. He just got hired at some tech joint like, some months ago. But he was upset because, people were blowing up the spot, which is kind of ironic. It's kind of ironic because of what we're talking about. So check this out. The guy's a YouTuber, right? He's a tech YouTuber. He just got a job at a tech company with like minimal experience. He was probably playing video games or something like that before, I don't know. And he was talking about the job and all this stuff. He wouldn't say where he works, because you can be low key on YouTube, right? You could get 10,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, 200, 500,000 subscribers, and walk outside and nobody knows who you are. Like, being popping on YouTube is not real fame. I don't know if y'all know that. But like, you may run into somebody rarely that knows who you are, but like, you're not really, most people are not going to know who you are, especially if you're in a niche that most people aren't rocking with. If you do something like, the Mr. Beast type stuff to where everybody watches it, yeah, you'll probably get recognized. But if you're just doing something in the tech space, most people are not into that. So with that being said, he got the job. He's telling us all the details about the job without telling us the job. What people in the comments did was they, did they little detective work, right? This is how come I said it's ironic. They did their detective work and found out what company he worked for based on the vague details that he was given, right? So they put the name of the company in the comments. Guess what one of these dickheads does? They go to the job interview and say, oh yeah, this YouTuber sent me here. Just almost blew up his spot. Almost got him fired from the job. Almost got him. That's how come I'm not gonna put him on the screen, because he trying to be low key to some degree. But even regular people be doing background checks trying to figure things out. Now, this is the thing, right? Once we get past that, let's go to another area, because we talked about tech, right? Getting in the tech industry. When you look at different blue collar stuff like being a plumber or working on cars, those are going to be things to where you have pretty good job security. The only issue is if you do decide to get a trade or some type of blue collar job, even if it's getting a CDL or something like that, you got to make sure that whatever you pick is something that pays very well. Very well. You got to make sure that what you get when you come in is cool. It's above what the average is, which we seen like 60K is the average. So it got to be like 80K, 70K, something like that. If you got to go to get certification and all that stuff, we're not trying to get no certification and pay all this money and put in all this time to make 40K, to make 50K. Suck the back of my fucking ball sack. We not doing that. But as far as the pinnacle, in the median, you definitely want it to be a good median and pinnacle as far as whatever the highest ways you can get what it is. And that's anything, anything over, like as far as the pinnacle, anything over like 125, you should be good. I can't see a point where somebody could be making as an individual like 150, 125, and they just struggling in America. I can't see it. I can't see it, especially if you don't got no kids and you don't got no wife. Now, if you got a wife that's not working, not bringing no money or nothing like that, and you got 4 kids, like, yeah, it's a different ball game then. And even then, that depends on if you live in a major city as well. Like, just all of that stuff I said, if you live in a major city, the cost of living is going to be higher, and that's going to be the next thing that I say. Like, but we going to get to that later. So doing those types of jobs, that's something that is definitely good. And if you do something like maybe not a trade, something like opening a landscaping business or something like that, that's blue collar work. That's not necessarily like, oh, you doing HVAC or something like that. But depending on where you live, that's seasonal work. So that's one thing that you got to account for. But the other thing is, it's going to be a long time before robots and AI gets their own carpentry service to where robots start coming out and giving your lawn 360 waves. It's going to be a while before that happens. So you seem like you got it figured out as far as tech. Do what you got to do. I've seen people get into the tech field after like a year, after like some months, whatever the case may be, like 9 months. So put in the time, put in the work. You should be able to get into that field relatively quick, And the thing I would recommend is, your capability and stuff like that. You know how good you are with it, and you might know what you want to get into or not. You might get into code. You might get into, security or whatever, or whatever. If you're getting into coding or something like that, you might want to get some guidance to some degree at some point. And if you do have trouble getting a job, there are a bunch of, just try and find one of them programs to where, okay, they're going to stick with you until you get a job. Because there are definitely some joints out there that are going to stick with you till you get a job. So that's that on the job tip. So if you get something like that, you will be cool even when, our robot comes to fruition. And we got to look at the T-1000 chasing down John Connor and shit. When we get past that, the thing about all of this, there is, especially if you listen to people in the tech industry and stuff like that, or just even just in other industries, and, on some of these other channels like Legion of Men, he reacts to a bunch of people who lose their jobs in XYZ, and some of them don't even be in tech. But these people have careers. A lot of people are losing their careers. Like, there's kind of virtually no such thing as job security when it comes to a lot of this shit. But the one thing that you can do is get another job. Who knows how long it'll take? But this is what I would say to maximize, you know, and this is for anybody. You know, if you're doing the trades and stuff like that, it's going to be a little bit different because you got to make money where you at. But my advice to anybody at this point would be two things. Number one, learn how to make some money digitally. Learn how to make some money digitally. When I say that, I want you to understand and I want you to know I am somebody who has been like, I've bought like the Ty Lopez courses. I done bought all types of stuff. I done listened to Dan Loke. I done listened to Gary Vaynerchuk and stuff like that. A lot of them people be bullshit. So when I say learn how to get some digital money, you got to find where the money is going. Like, where is the money being made at? And I want you to know something, man. A lot of these gurus be full of shit. We talk about the dating dudes and the course selling. Oh my God, let me tell you, they don't got nothing. They don't got an ounce of nothing on these getting money guru niggas. Oh my God. If you watch CoffeeZilla or Spencer Cornelius, they expose these dudes so bad. So my advice to you is this. When we talk about digital money, pick a lane, look around, figure something out. Once you figure out what lane you want to be in, you get some information from Reddit, YouTube, all that stuff. Get you whatever free information you got. And it's got to be something that you can begin to do yourself without buying a course. If you got to buy a course to get into it, no. Now, if there's a barrier to entry as far as you having to pay some money to be able to set up like a Shopify store or something like that, that's cool. Do that. If you got to, get some web design or something like that, that's cool. Do that. Those things are necessary. But when you got to like buy a course to figure this shit out, this is the thing about that. You're going to have to figure out a lot yourself as you go along the way, regardless, when it comes to digital money. And I'm going to tell you something. When you look at somebody like the guy who made Fashion Nova is a Shopify site. You ain't never hear him shout out no courses. You ain't ever hear Mark Zuckerberg shout out no courses. Like, you got to figure out what lane you going to be in, what you going to do, and how to get a competitive advantage, against the people that you're going to be going up against so you could get a good share of the market. You're going to have to figure that out, whether it's through ads or whatever the case. And even then, that might not be what you get into. You might get into affiliates. You might fucking become like, the NPC on TikTok and be like, ooh, liquor it. Like, you might become a streamer. Who knows what it is? Shit. It's a bunch of people who play video games, like retro video games and new video games in their spare time and their off days and stuff like that. So like whatever it is, you figure out what lane you want to get in, invest some time into that. Another thing, see, this is another complicated one. I was going to say, invest in some stocks and get you a Roth IRA and shit like that. I don't believe in mutual funds. I read the book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. So the worry that I have personally is a personal worry that I have. With the way things are going as far as America, I don't know everything, bro. I don't know everything, but I'm just weary, even though I still invest in index funds and stuff like that. I'm just weary to some extent about us financially as a country. So investing in like just our index funds and stuff like that, it's like, it's never failed. It's never failed, but the faith it's just not as high as it was. Now, so you can invest at your own discretion. Now, when we get past investing, this right here is the real information that I was like to spark this whole last part. Two things. Number one, if you can, figure out a way to get into remote work. Figure out a way to get into remote work. If you do tech work, more than likely you'll be able to remote work. If you don't do tech work, they got different companies, white collar companies, could be a call center, could be something else. Like, could be whatever, like consultations, whatever. find out a way, a career that you can get into to where you can work remote. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, you seen the first part of the video where I showed all the prices and the guy went over all the prices and stuff like that. When you are in an area, right, what's really messed up is people will try and pay you, if you're going to a physical location, wages that they think are cool for the area that you live in, when somebody that works the same job in LA is getting paid more than you. Now, when you do it remote, the prices are going to be, as far as the wages, they're going to be the same all around the board. So when you do that, you could likely get a wage that depending on a job, that would be good for a bigger city, but would be better. It would get you much further in a smaller city. So the whole thing is, if you can get the remote working, you could get a good wage, make your home base someplace with a lower cost of living. Now, that could be in the country. That could be like, in fucking West Virginia, bumblefuck, if you can stomach that life. But if it's not that, then what you will do is do your whole like little passport bro stuff and go out there and just do your sex tourism, fuck Dominicans and Colombians and, whatever else you can, Koreans, what would you, Filipinas, all that stuff. You do that and you'll be Gucci. I'm kind of joking, like when it comes to like the sex tourism, but like if you did want to move out the country, that would be good for you to be able to do that, to where you could still get that remote work and all that stuff. But that is basically my thoughts. Now, I'm going to end it the same way I started it. I am not an expert. All of this is just I don't got it all figured out, bro. I don't got it all figured out. I'm not the $1 million man. I don't got 6 Bugattis, and I can't tell you how to be me. I just can't. But all that advice and all of that stuff that I gave, that is just my perspective. Those are things that I think you should think about, consider, take with a grain of salt, and hopefully they help you out. Let me know your thoughts. Y'all have a good day.